So, welcome. I'm JP. If anybody doesn't know me yet, hopefully you will soon. I've been a piano teacher for 20 years. I live in Ithaca, New York, and this is my studio here. And I'm going to just teach you guys a basic blues lesson today. So if you're tuning in or watching this later, just get in front of your piano. I'm going to show you a couple little tricks here, some of my favorite approaches to things. All right, you guys ready? So what we're going to do is I want you to start with your hand in a left hand, what we typically call a 5-finger position, right? So you have a C and a G in the left hand. And the first thing what we're going to do is we're going to just get this going like this. You're going to move your thumb up and down like that. And this is important because what it does is it establishes the bass. There's C on the bottom. And the thumb just moves up and down like this. Just like that. Okay? What we're going to do is eventually we're going to move this to some other places. We're going to move it up to F. I'm going to move it to G as well. So there's going to be the 3 positions we're going to use in this lesson. All right, so what we're going to do now is pretty much that's the first thing you've got to be able to do. We're just moving like this. Just play that along to a beat. You're all ready? Let me make sure my applause isn't going to come on this time. Here we go. 1, 2, 4. Just go like this. There you go. Ready for trick number 2? You go like this, watch us. Alright, good. Okay, so that's the main base of our left hand, and what you kind of have to do is get that to be so natural and so just constant. Just keep this going. Sometimes I like to ask my students, all right, what did you eat for lunch today? And can you keep that going at the same time? All right, so now I want to take a look at the right hand. Hey, just a little update on me. I had a shoulder surgery literally 1 week ago. I dislocated my shoulder in the spring, and it's been a long road, a lot of PT, and my shoulder is feeling really good today. Finally, after many months, and so that's part of why I'm doing this. I'm just super excited to be back in the saddle, teaching my lessons and everything later this afternoon. But so check it out. When you're gonna play your right hand, what we want to do is imagine there are these 2 triangles. All right, you want to play C, E flat, and F. All right, see that little triangle? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hand and you're gonna move your thumb up to your G and create the exact same triangle. So you have 2 halves of the scale, just like this. So maybe make a little practice session out of doing both of those, like that. Okay? And what you're gonna do now is you're gonna go like this. 1, 2, 3. Bring your thumb up. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again. Good, let's go down. 3, 2, 1, cross, 3, 2, 1. Again, come up here. Okay, so this is the idea. Now what we're gonna do is, what I want you to do first is I want you to just hit this C down here. You'll notice right here, I have a pedal over on the right side of the screen. And so if you see it sustain like this, if you have a sustain pedal, you're welcome to do it. But I don't want you to focus on it too much right now. So what you're going to do is go like this, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, this. Take my third finger, wiggle it in the air like this, and switch it over the top. Fold your hand over your thumb like this. Bring your third finger to F, and the moment you do, you play that 3, and then you go whoop, and you slip it right down into the regular triangle. Ready? 2, here we go. And 3, 2, yeah. Good. All right, now let's go like this. Ready? I'll demonstrate first, and then we'll do together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we go down. 3, 2, 1. Cross. 3, 2, 1. Let's go up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And a 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Cross over. 3, 2, 1. Good. And let's make the complexity go up a little bit. What I want you to do is now go like this. We're gonna have now just a fifth. We're playing C and G in the left hand. Ready? 2, here we go. Like that. Thumb, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Cross. 3, 2, 1. Again. Okay, nice. All right, so once you get that, we're gonna move then. We're gonna start moving this left hand like this, right? The first thing that we did. Now, this can be really challenging to get that coordination of moving the thumb with each one of the right hand notes. Let me demonstrate what we're going for, right? Watch this. Doing is quarter note movement. So with each one of these, this is an interesting way to practice it. The main thing is that the left hand is totally just doing its thing, right? And you kind of have to trust it. It's really, it takes a long time to build it. It's hard for some, it's really easy for others, and it depends on who you are, right? So here's the that's it, okay? We're gonna keep stacking on concepts, assuming when the live stream is done, then you guys can watch this and pick up more tricks as we go. All right, so now what I wanna do is, if this is quarter notes, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's my steady beat. And we're gonna keep it a tempo like there, right there. We don't have to move anywhere else for now. Just keep it right there. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, again, one more time. Thumb under. All right, now what we're gonna do is go twice as fast, like this. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. At this point, you should be having a pretty good sense of these two little triangles going on. Ready? Here we go. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. That's it. Now, if that's difficult for you, you can go back to just playing the fifth in the left hand, or you could even just do the C in the bottom. So absolutely you can do this. You can do this. And if you can, move the thumb in the left hand. Notice as soon as I do, it creates a lot more movement, right? Okay, so those would be eighth notes and quarters. Eighth note, quarter, eighth note, quarter. Okay, now what if you pause like this. Let's try it. In any one of those three left-hand versions, either the C and a G, or you're moving, right, for the more advanced. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. That's it. Okay, good. Now, the next one that we like to do is called triplets. Now, everything what we're doing in the left hand is kind of based on a triplet, and it's a feeling thing. Like when I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm actually playing something based on a triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 4 triplet, 4 triplet. It's called swinging the eighth note. Okay, and we go like this, right? Right. So, but right now what we're doing are just quarter notes here. We haven't filled that in yet rhythmically, but we're gonna do that now with the right hand. Watch this. We're gonna go 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. So we're doing 3 beats on every 1 quarter note like this. Just like that. How about this? Okay, or okay. So there you have triplets, okay? Now, what I want to do is give you a little exercise, and we're going to do each one of those patterns in their own way. So watch this, right? I'm going to, again, continue to use my 5th and 6th in the left hand. Let's check it out. Go like this, go. So these are the quarter notes. This is the first one we did. Now we do 8th notes. Ready? Go like this. Do that one again. Now we do the triplets like this. Okay, so there you have it. That's a really great start. And for some people, that might be enough for this whole week. For some people, that might be enough for the whole month. And for some, you might say, keep going, JP. I want to learn some more. Okay, so let's keep doing it. Ready? So what we're going to do is we're going to move on. I'm going to add an extra note into this. The blues is, well, we literally call this the blue note. It is the note that kind of bends up or down. And it's so adding this sharp 4 of the scale is gonna give it that characteristic blues sound. Now everything is based on the pentatonic scale, which is what I was just playing with you, but this is gonna kind of give it that real vibe. Okay, so this is how we do it. Ready? We go 1, 2, 3, same thing. We're gonna add our 4th finger on F sharp. Then you're gonna bring your thumb under, same way. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1, come over with 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's practice that scale. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, thumb under. Let's go back down. And again, here we go. exact thing. We're going to take it up a notch in eighth notes like this. Watch me. Right hand first. 1, 2, ready? It goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Finger wise goes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Add in whatever left hand you want. I'm gonna go with the big one. Here goes. Sound good. Yeah, 1, 2 more times. Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. We did quarter notes. We did eighth notes. Now we do triplets. We're gonna go like this. It'll sound like 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1. Pull it out. 3, 4. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1. Let's do it a couple more times. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Get in the habit of saying it. If you can say it, you can play it. 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. 1. Here we go. Add your left hand. Here goes. Ready? That's it. And 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Nice. 2 more times. And last. All right, and let's take a breather right there. Holy moly, yeah, it's exciting, you guys. For my first piano live stream, I'm having a good time. I don't know. Hope you guys are enjoying it too. Gotta take my multivitamin of the day. So if you guys are liking everything you're hearing, please feel free to check out my website. My name is John Petronzio. My friends call me JP, but I made a website called johnpetron.com because it had a fun ring to it. Thanks, Steph. And that is my website, and I only have one course up there so far. It's called Make Music Now. And if you guys are liking what you're seeing here, it's just like this, and I just love teaching. I may not be so great at the live stream yet, but I'm gonna keep doing this every day and give you guys little tips and tricks. So I hope you'll enjoy it. All right, so here we go. Ready? We're gonna kick it up one more notch. In the left hand, I want to go like this. So now we're gonna do eighth notes down here. Okay? Just like this. Okay? So we're going 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. We're swinging the beat. And don't mean a thing if it ain't nothing like that swing. 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now, here a quick little primer on rhythm. There's kind of two ways to feel groove, and it all comes from the eighth note. There's rhythm is either going to be straight, which would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and what you do is as you add more swing, you slide the second half of the beat, the ands, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then you move it even more and it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and move it even further and it becomes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and even further it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm just the downbeats of 1, 2, 3 and 4 are always there. And we just sliding the and, so the second eighth note of each beat back a little bit. I'll have more demonstration on that later. So that's what we're doing here. For some people, it's really, really difficult to swing an eighth note. If you are having trouble with that, straighten everything out. Okay, and you could do all the same exercises like this. This is a good one. Yeah, just like We're not going to focus on doing straight today because it's blues and our groove is swung. So we're back to this, okay? So we're going to put everything we've done, quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We're going to do eighth notes and 2, 3, and 4, right? We're going to add our fourth finger into the right hand, so we have our blue note with eighth notes in the left hand. Oh, let's see how you do. 1, ready, go. Let's get this going first. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, here we go. Ready? Quarter notes, right hand. Ready? Goes like this. Let's do it again. Alright, so what we have to do is you have to play this scale so much where it becomes absolutely second nature, the same as the left hand, right? One of the other things that I like to show my students is, okay, well, if I'm soloing like this here, and everything exists within one octave, it can get a little bit, I don't know, redundant. It's sort of too constrained, right? So how does one go beyond the octave? Well, let me show you. You go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then you borrow another thumb, and then you just repeat the same pattern. Okay, on the way down, there's a couple different options, and fingerings are always a little bit subjective. Everybody does them a little bit differently. On the way down, if you're in the first octave, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some people like 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some people like to go like this: 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1. And to tell you the truth, I just do both. It's whatever feels right in the moment. I don't try to get too caught up on it, because when you're playing the blues, you're trying to play from your heart anyways. And we'll talk about that more in just a minute here. So now let's just take a second here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go up beyond the octave like this. 4, 3. I'm gonna go what 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we just did a 2-octave scale, right? So from C to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. So anytime I'm going down past the C, I like 3, probably more than 2. But you certainly can use 2, because that's what we had been doing on the way up, right? 2 on B flat. Okay, so these are this is just a little trick in case you don't want to be constrained to just doing 1 octave. After you master that, definitely then move up into 2 octaves. Okay. So the next thing that I want to show you is how to do a cool accompaniment. When you say accompaniment, right, What do you mean, JP? So I'm saying you want to play your left hand is like the bass, right? That's kind of holding things down. And when we're doing all of this stuff, this is the lead. Okay, that's what you would maybe play if you were doing the solo. But we're not always going to be soloing. You got to learn to play along. If there's a singer, a saxophone player, or somebody else is doing the lead, you're going to need to learn how to play, an accompaniment, right? So here's my first way that I love to teach accompaniment. Check this out. You're going to go like this. In your left hand, if you know anything about triads and inversions, we're going to move it up here for a second. I want you to play a C major triad. In the right hand, I want you to play a C major triad as well. Now watch this. What you're going to do is you're going to take the right hand, you're going to invert it. If you don't know what inversions are, it's okay. There's plenty of time to understand it. A very basic primer on it is that whenever we invert something, we take your bottom note and we move it up the octave. And now I have the same 3 notes of a C chord, but now I have instead of the C being on the bottom, I'm going to move it up the octave, and now it's on top. Depending on how many notes you have, there will be that many inversions. So if I have 3 notes, there will be 3 inversions. If I have 4 notes, there will be 4 inversions. If I have 5 notes, there will be 5 inversions. Some of them are easier than others to play. Okay, so, but all we need to know right now is that I want you to take a C chord in root position, take the bottom note, move it up here to a first inversion. Okay, in the left hand, you have a root position, and in the right hand, you have a first inversion chord. And what you're going to do then is take the guts out. That means take out the E in the right hand, or rather, the E in the left hand and the G in the right hand. And this chord right here is like my favorite chord. If I could pick one chord in all of music, this is it right here. I call it the warm apple pie of music. It's like, you move it down here into this nice warm range. This is called a 5th in the left hand and a 6th in the right hand. That's the distance between the notes, called intervals. Okay, and we have a 5th here, and I have a E and a C up here, and it just sounds so good. Now watch this. I'm going to take my thumbs and I'm going to move them up like this. Remember, the left hand was going like this? Right, you're just going to continue to do that. But now what you're going to do is you're going to also move the right hand to do the same thing, like this. Like that. And just so we can see where we're going to head with this in a moment, and every time you want to do that same process, you find a root position in both hands, you invert the right hand, you take out the guts. Hey Mike, how's it going, man? Thanks for tuning in. If you take this voicing right here, feel free to play along if you want. Take this voicing right here and go like this. Move it up. And just move it all the way up the keys until you get back to C. Everything sounds really great. Whenever we do this kind of a thing, I like to say, like, keep a gentle rigidity to your hands. It's like you don't want to like claw on anything, but you want to keep the distance of your hands memorized so that you can essentially move the bottoms and let the tops of your hands follow along. Okay, so this is kind of what we're doing here. And you can do some. You can get really fancy with it if you want. Okay, so this is it, right? So this is the chord. Now let's say. And I said this right up top at the front of the lesson that we're going to learn 3 positions. That's going to be C, F, and G. Okay, so let's see it. If you were going to take this same process, right? 2 root positions, invert the right hand, take out the guts. Boom. Let's do it now in F. I get 2 F chords. I invert my right hand. In other words, take the bottom note, put it on top, and take out the guts. Do the same thing for G. Ready? 2 G chords, invert the right hand, take out the goods. And you can move these around. Just a great sounding chord, okay? Now what you're going to do is we have to learn how to move our thumbs on all 3 positions. Okay? This is how we'll do it on C, which we've already discussed. Now we'll move it up to the 4 chord, like so. Now notice this. You're gonna have to move your hand in to play a B flat here. Like this. Hope you're doing all right, Mike. Let me know if you got any questions, okay? And here we go, G. Hey, I wanted to just say, if anybody wants, hey, you know, let's learn this song, or teach us how to do that. I'm all about it. Okay, now if we go to the 5 chord, it's like this. And this one is a lot like C, identical to C actually. It feels the same. So you have to be ready to do it in F and also in C. And one of the things that's not always clear to the beginner is that you kind of have to know how to look at the stuff. I am always seeing the 10th or the 3rd, right? If I'm playing a C major chord, I want to see the C and the E, and I generally look at it as a 10th. Right? This is the way that music makes sense to me. If I'm going to F, then I can do this, and if I'm going to G, I can do this. I teach this a lot with my jazz students. So if I can get these 2, the rest of it is easy to figure the rest. Okay, I'm gonna switch the view a little bit here, and over here you're gonna notice this is like a standard blues form. So the first thing that I want to do is take the right hand back out again, and I'm gonna go through this just to be clear. The first line, you'll notice there's an I in it. That means 1 chord, right? So 1 is I. On the next line, okay, we're gonna do 4 bars of that. Not everybody knows how to read music. Yeah, man, totally. Let me know if you got any questions or you're like, hey, slow that down. Okay, so if you'll notice, these are called measures, right, or bars. And in the first or the upper left bar, right, you see a 1, and that means we're gonna play the 1 chord. And then there's nothing in the next 3. We read it just like a book. So then we go to the second line and you see IV. And if you know your Roman numerals, IV means 4, okay? And the 4 chord is gonna be F, okay? We're playing in the key of C, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. That's how you lay these things out. So the 4 chord is F, okay? And so we do 2 bars of the 4 chord, okay? And then we go into the third measure, then we go back to 1, and then there's nothing in that next bar. That means we stay there. Onto the last line, the third line here, we go to the, and you know what, actually I can highlight this. 5 chord is here, right? Now we go to 4, and then to 1. And finally, on the last bar, to 5. So this could be a lot, and all I want to do for right now is just get the starting point. It's absolutely crucial. Any musician needs to learn how to count bars. And I need to impart this on you, Mike, or anybody else who's looking to learn for the first time, is that when you listen to music, you have to be able to count to 4. And I know that sounds like, well, I can do that. I've been doing that since I was a little kid. Yes, just about everybody can do it. My 5-year-old can do that. But can you do it in time? And this is what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and just keep that running count. You can't let it go. 1, 2, 3. There are so many elements to music. Asking a lot. You got it, man. 1, 2. You notice there's cues. Hear that cymbal? That was cymbaling 1, 3, 4, 1. So the drums have their own way of signifying where one is. 3, 4, 2, 3. Okay, so you have to learn that first. You can listen to any song, throw up your Spotify, hit random on your like favorite. I love I have a playlist of all just like the songs I've always liked, my whole life, every album, every song, and I just like them, and then I randomize the liked playlist. That's a little key, so you don't have to make like individual playlists. I just like everything, and then I hit random, and depending on what I like that day, then I'm playing it. So this is the idea: is that when we count, we have to go 1 chord, 2, 3, second bar, 2, 2, 3, 4, then 3, 2, 3, 4, then 4. Now we go to the second line, to the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, and stay there. 1, 2, 3, and then you go to the I. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay there. Now we go to the third line, to the 5, 2, 3, 4, then 4, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, and then to 5, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it with a beat. You ready? 1, 2. 1, 2. Here we go. 1 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay there. We're gonna do 4 bars on the first line. Now we go to the 4 chord second line. Now back to the 1. And stay. And go to 5. And 4. And 1. And 5. And boom. There we go, back around. Okay, so I know I'm gonna kind of move in fast here, Mike and anybody else who's tuning in. But that's the beauty of it. After the video is done, you can stop, you can pause, you can practice all these things, whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Just practice all 3. Here's the C or the 1 chord. Okay, we're gonna go like this. Okay, and then we go to the 4 chord. Watch out for B flat. You notice how I move my hand in. One of the things, just a little technique thing about piano, is that sometimes you'll see beginners, they go like this, like they try to reach their hands. Anytime you see the hands reaching too far like this or this, no, don't do it. The keys are long, and they're long for a reason. You need to move your hands in and out. Don't go like this, right? Go like this. Slide them in. I like to think of these 3 fingers almost like a hydraulic cylinder. Okay, boom, just like this. Okay, and now we go like this. This is the G chord. The 5 is the same as C. Literally feels the same. Might take you a little bit of time to get used to keeping your hands in that way. Okay, so now, here we go. We're gonna throw you guys in here. We're gonna first start it with just landing the roots, and then we'll progress to start making some more movement. Here we go. 1, 2, counting bars. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Stay there. 2. Bar 3. Now move to the 4 chord. Go. 1. Notice I didn't hang around and wait for the last second. Back to the 1. I'm using my pedal to help me get there. Now we go to 5. Go up and down. And then 4. Yeah, man, don't turn those hands. 2, 3, and then to 5. Let's do it one more time, just for good practice. Here we go. 3, 4. Nice. Go to the 4. Ready? Go. 3, 4. Bar 2, 2, 3. Back to the 1, 2, 3, 4, and up to 5. Here we go. And there. Now we're gonna just ramp it up just a slight bit. Okay, like this. We're gonna move our thumbs. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. Going to the second line. Here we go to the fourth. Go, move in and out. Yeah, move that hand in and out. Back to 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 4. Okay, third line. Go to the 5 chord. And then the 4. Push in for that B flat. Back to 1. Yes, now we're gonna do exactly the same thing. Listen, 1, 2, 3, and 4 exist. So music is a hierarchy of numbers. There's a lot of different overlapping number systems. There's the beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's the bars, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's the fingers, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. Okay, in case you didn't know that, thumbs are 1s, pointers 2s, middle fingers 3s, rings are 4s, and pinkies are 5s. They emanate out. Inside's thumbs, pinkies out. Okay, numbers wise, we have Roman numerals as well. So there's a lot of different numbers. In fact, and it's as important to know that each chord in a scale has a root, a third, and fifth, and a 7, and a 9, and 11. Okay, so there's a lot of different numbers to kind of get straight in your head. But you could do it. It takes time. So after a while, you speak the dialect, right? You speak the language, and it gets easy. Okay, so here we go. We're going to now go like this. Mike, I can't remember. Did we move? Yes, we did. We did. So now we're going to play eighth notes like this. You'll notice that let me see. Okay, I'm going to move this over here so you can see it. This is my pedal. I have a little pedal here. And so you'll notice that if I don't use the pedal, it's kind of, it's a little harder to make it sound full. What we're doing actually is we're going to go like this, right? Here's an extra special trick for you all, right? Watch. In the left hand, you play the eighth notes. In the right hand, you go like this. Quarter notes. So I could do both hands like this. That's fine. But I like to go like this. Makes it seem a little smoother. Now I'm going to slow it down. Watch this, what I do with the pedal. Lift the pedal on the attack of the new chord. Up, up, up. Do the same thing on the 4 chord. Ready? Back to 1. I'm going through the form here. And 5. Let's take that with the groove and we'll keep adding in cool concepts, right? Here we go. 2, ready, and... let's go. Let me give you a couple more little tricks that I like to do. And the way this works is sometimes it feels like with music, there's so much to know and the possibilities are endless. This is the thing that I like to make sure everybody knows, especially my students. Just learn it really well in one place. Okay? It's not, you don't have to learn everything all at once, right? And that's the way we humans are, right? We take small bites and we just do little bits at a time, right? Learn everything in C. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people maybe agree just use a transpose button if they need to move things up and down. Yeah, maybe that's okay for you get out of trouble in a gig or something. But in this case, we want to just learn everything in C, and then eventually you learn it in all the other keys. That's just the way things go. But learn it in C. There's no, muscle memory, exactly. We'll learn it in the same first place, okay? All right, you ready? Let's give a little bit of vibe going here. What I want you to do is take your third finger, or your thumb rather, on the third of the note. Watch this. Oh, now we're getting bluesy. Can we do that on the four chord? Oh, you bet. You can drag this note back to C. And 5, go. Look at that. Sometimes I like to explain these like hammer-ons. If anybody out there is a guitar player, when you play a hammer-on, it's when you strike a string and then you sort of play a fret or two above without re-striking the string. So it's kind of this. Right? That's the way I would describe it. It's like an attack on a note and then it goes to another note. And when you do a hammer-on, as I sort of understand it on the piano, sometimes call it a grace note, is you can do them in kind of two ways, right? I can go like this. I can go it fast. Ba, ba, right? There's very little distance between the E flat and the E. Or I could do it like a slower one, like. And with blues, it's always cool to be a little bit on the back. Exactly, dude. Cross between a hammer-on and a flat. Exactly. So, and it depends on the type of tune. You know, if it's up tempo and it's on top, you know, right? A quick hammer-on is really nice, or a grace note. Or if it's a slower tempo, and that's kind of up to you, right? That can be your own vibe that you want to put on the track. Okay, so there's trick number 1, and that kind of just fits into everything we just did, right? So you can always drag that thumb. You'll notice that when I always will move my hand in a little bit, right? Remember that we talked about the in versus the out. I kind of put my hand in a little bit and then I go like this. I drag my hand down, right? There's that hydraulic cylinder like this. I don't want to go like, I don't want to like do everything like with my thumb. I want to like put my thumb down on the E flat and then I want to pull my hand out, which automatically drags it down into the right. Same thing on the F chord and then the G chord. So they're all identical in that way, and that's what's nice. So when I come up, I'm like a bah. It kind of ends up being this like circle. See that? In, out. And we can say that the grace note, or the hammer-on, or whatever you want to call it, is how fast do I pull my hand down, right? Is it, or is it quick or slow, right? Okay, so let's stack a little bit more concept onto it. We're gonna go like this. So I'm gonna add in this second finger. Now watch this. open voicing, just so you know. And I love this. I play at a church in Ithaca called Calvary Baptist Church. I play the Hammond organ there. And these kinds of voicings, very common in hymnals. It really kind of sounds to me like SATB, which is soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. It's kind of a way to split the voices out in a nice even way. And whether you're talking about voices, which is a chorus, right? Soprano, alto, tenor, bass, or violin, viola, cello, and double bass, right? So, or we can do the same thing with winds and brass, that there are different instruments that kind of fit into their different respective ranges. And so when you get, the reason why I love this voicing so much is because of just how warm it is, and I think it's because of that. If you look at a C major triad, which is the same thing as this, talk about different ways to voicing, this sounds good, but it's so condensed. This is spread out and just feels really, really good. So what we're doing is we're gonna move our left hand up to the flat 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be here. We're gonna go to the flat 7. Whether you're doing quarter notes or eighth notes like this, okay, it's all good. Let's look at what would it be in the 4 chord. You have to understand that sometimes when you're taking a formula, you have to learn it in one place like this. Okay, how much did I go up between this A and B flat? Well, it's a half step, right? So I'm gonna go like this. Oh, it's also a half step. And oddly enough, look at that. It's literally the same thing, right? White, white, black, white, white, black. Right? See that? Shapes and colors, guys. And then on the 5 chord, we go like this. Like that. So this one's a little bit different, right? This is a half step as well, but it didn't have to go up to a black note. So on the 5 chord, we go like that. Ready? Let's practice that. Here we go. 1, 2, quarter notes. Go. My pedal got stuck there for a second. Here we're on the second line. Ready? 4 chord. Go. And back to the 1. So there's a little trick. Now I will tell you, just beyond, I'm not gonna play this with all the grooves, but there, and I've said a lot about this this little bit already. But watch this. Just keeping these C's on the outside. It's so cool. How much really cool stuff you can come up with. Just it's a very common little turnaround. So let me just show you this on that 5 chord, but let's say on the last line. Watch this. So I gotta go. that was over the 5. I went. And look at this little gray. I did 2 hammer-ons, or Grace does. But the inside voices are doing what's called... Oh, my pedal's getting stuck. Yeah. Chromatic. Chromatic means every note right in a row. Right? This is a chromatic scale. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And I did it. Okay, so on the last line, here's the turnaround. I love this voicing. If this is too much, you could just use this B, E flat, and G. It's an augmented chord. If I add the F, it's dominant. If you want a really more advanced voicing, I like to do this is a dominant G dominant 7 sharp 9 sharp 5. Woo! Dirty. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm gonna continue to just kind of give a couple more little tricks. I'll have a little jam at the end, and then I'm gonna sign off. My shoulder. I had said earlier in the broadcast that I dislocated my shoulder in the spring, and I got a surgery on it last Wednesday. So it's been 8 days since the surgery, and I feel really good. It's a little sore now. I think I'll probably need to up my my drugs for a bit, but hopefully within another day or two, I won't need them at this point. So I'm gonna tell you that's one. That's turnaround number 1. That happened over the last 2 bars. I'm going to give you another turnaround. It goes like this. You're going to play a C in the left hand. Octave or single note, either one is fine. Then you're going to go like this. C dominant 7, this is E, G, B flat, C. Okay? Then you're going to go like this. This is a 4-chord dominant 7. You're gonna do this little blue note there. You're gonna keep your right hand in the same place. You're gonna add this F sharp, right? 3 F sharps. Then you're gonna come to a 1 chord with the 5 in the bass. Then you're gonna do the same voicing. This is B, E flat, F, A sharp, technically. Sharp 9. I should say D sharp and A sharp. So one more time on that. C, first inversion over C. Add a B flat into the right hand with an E in the bass. 4 chord. Actually, we did this. E flat, hammer on A flat to A and C. Diminished of 1/5. That's a C over G. And then you're gonna go like this. Now, one more time, it goes like this. One more time, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 4. Now, one more time. 2 and. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a little jam now. I'm gonna play through this, and I think it's important to whoever's watching, right, that you don't have to do the same thing all the time. I think it's good for practice, but ultimately what you're going to do is mix it up, right? Mix and match, vary it. Sometimes you go like this. Sometimes you don't do the grace note here. Sometimes you go like this. So I go up to the flat 7, but I don't do it up here, right? I could go like that. And so it's just be creative, make it your own. And whatever, you can break the mold, paint in the lines and then break them. And that's the beauty of music, is that you can do just about anything you want. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna Hopefully my sustain pedal will stop sticking on me. But we're going to just jam it out. I'm going to just kind of mix and match it, try some stuff. Maybe I'll throw in a couple little licks. We're going to then take a second and look at our solo hand, all of those exercises that we did with the blues scale, which was at the beginning of the lesson, and we'll take a little solo. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, here we go. And let's talk about the soloing for a second, because let's when we think about the blues, one of the words or terms that often will conjure up in our minds is soul, and that it's pretty cool that actually Disney recently made a movie. It's called Soul, and it's kind of interesting because the way they interpreted soul as is like the moment that you kind of lose yourself, that you realize that you are the instrument. And oftentimes when we learn an instrument, we're so in our heads about like what's right and what's wrong. But one of the things about being a musician is, well, the things that I've realized is that you are the instrument, right? The piano is, yeah, we call it an instrument or whatever, fill in the blank, guitar, saxophone, but it doesn't do anything without you. You have to be the one to manipulate it. And what's so cool is that you are different than me and everyone else. You have a unique voice, vocal footprint. You have a unique fingerprint, right? No one's ever been like you. You're special, you know? Exactly, right? So we extend our spirit through the instrument. And listen, this is a magical thing going on right now. It's a gift to have 2 hands, 2 ears, 2 eyes, and a heart, and a soul, you know? So soul, like what does that mean? How does it translate to the piano? And I would say that when you have that thing, what makes B.B. King so awesome on the guitar, or McCoy Tyner so great on the piano, Why is Jimi Hendrix so special? And the thing that I think is, and feel free to tell me what you think, is that when you are really in a true state of flow and being, you are actually doing it. You're singing through your hands. Okay, so when anything, yeah, I kind of like that. There's a I don't know if you guys have seen Pete Holmes. I've been become a huge fan of Pete Holmes. It's great. His stand up is hilarious. There's a stand up called Dirty Clean, and in it, he starts talking about the different voices that we have, and this really got me. It totally blew my mind. Definitely go watch it. It's that we have a speaking voice, we have a singing voice. These are the outward, right? And within that, we have angry voice, and sad voice, and calm voice, and soothing voice, and all these different characters of voice, right? But then you go one step further, and all of those things, your brain also has a voice. And you've been now listening to me speak for a little while. I won't give too much away, but in the Pete Holmes stand-up, he starts singing Happy Birthday. And if you think about it, you can hear me singing that. It's weird. It's like your brain like fills in the blanks, right? It can sort of sort it out. So what ends up happening is that we have an inside speaking voice, right? That's the the one that's in your cockpit, like telling you to do everything. But then you have an inside singing voice as well. That voice, it doesn't matter if you're actually a good singer or not. If it's in your head, well, then who's to say that isn't Pavarotti, right? The greatest singer of all time is in your head. Nobody has to hear it. But in this particular case, what you want to do is take that singing voice, or that inside mental singing voice, and channel it here out your hands, okay? If you can sing with your hands and sing every note, that is what gives certain people this edge, right? This thing, this X factor that makes them feel soulful, connected. If I go like this, right? Watch. It's a run-on sentence. It sounds like I'm doing an exercise. Now, I'm not telling you to not play the exercise, because I gave you the exercises earlier in this lesson. But what I am saying is sing your line. And even if that singing is just in your head, fine. If that singing comes out as grunts and moans and stuff, cool, let it be. Start with 3 notes. I could argue that you could start with just 1 note. Can you make 1 note sound interesting? Like this. I just played a solo. It was only 1 note the whole time, okay? Now add 3 notes, right? And all of a sudden watch this. Okay, now when we get into this, I'm gonna talk about some little techniques. Because before we learned this scale, right, which is very exercisey, right? Okay, but we're gonna now start to connect those notes to the soul, right? Can you sing your notes? Oh, da-do. Oh, da-dee-da-do. Oh, da-dee-da-do-do-do. was it before when I did that little exercise that was different than what I was just doing on the last two examples? Well, Miles Davis said it's the space between the notes, right? So if you are playing an exercise, then we tend to do a run-on sentence. If you are connected to your voice, wouldn't you stop to take a breath? Wouldn't you give the listener a chance to drink in what you're trying to say? If you tried to get up at a podium and speak, and you just kept speaking, right? You'd run out of breath real fast. Watch. Oh, my pedal. No, don't do that. Give it a chance to breathe, right? If you know, and this is one of the things about playing piano is that when you play the piano, you don't have to actually take a breath, right? I go like this, right, and just keep doing that. If you were playing it on a saxophone, right, or a trumpet, right, you gotta stop and take a breath, right, because you just can't do that. One of the reasons why I think it's a bit more natural to be able to get into the phrasing of things, and that's what that's a good word for it. Okay, so last thing that I want to talk about before we wrap it up for the day. I'm gonna go get some lunch in a minute here, but the hammer-on idea, and I hinted at some of this stuff a few minutes ago, and this is kind of cool because when we have these two triangles, okay, that we talked about at the very beginning of the lesson, anytime you have a whole step, that's a second, also called a major second in this case, those two notes can be used like the hammer-on, right? Watch this. That's lick one. Ready? Here we go. Watch this. Can I do it up here? You bet. Watch it. Don't worry about the left hand. I'll just do that. Okay. How about down here again? So real quick, just a note on that is I can do the hammer-on fast, like that, or I can do it slow. Okay, just like that. So they can be in that same thing. Now you can bend up, but the main thing is that you don't want to stay on that blue note too long because it's pretty dissonant, and you'll notice like dissonant, 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 heading towards resolution, which is the key note. So you can bend up. That's a good one right there. Now watch this. You can bend from the sharp 4 or the F sharp, the blue note, up. Look at that. Okay, I want you to learn this lick right here. Watch this. Now this is cool. I'm using a different finger. I'm using 3 and I'm bending it up. So 3 bend up, 3 bend down. Okay. It's kind of fun, right? Watch this, right? Hear that? Okay. if I look at this scale, remember a second ago I said that the hammer-on trick, which is essentially a way of mimicking the voice, right? The some keyboards, like mine has like and most pitch bend wheels will move by a whole step up or down, and I can move them up in half steps as well. When you have a guitar, you can bend the note. Okay, there are a lot of different instruments that are executed differently, but on the piano we can't bend notes, right? Unless you're going to use that pitch bend, and that's kind of more for synthesizers, honestly, I'd say. But so in this case, what you're going to do is anytime in this scale that we had a whole step or a step, let's just say from here to here is a step, from here to here it's a half step, but it's a step, from here to here is a step. Is here to here a step? No, it's not. So we're not gonna bend between those two. But from here to here, the octave, yes, I can bend there. So watch this. I can go like this. I can go like here. I'm doing all the up bends. Okay? If I took those and I went down with them, watch a. Tell you what, that I find that the voice is naturally inclined to bend up, not as much down, except one of them. Up is good for flat 3 to 4. Up is good for here. Up is good for here to here. Up is good for here to here. Down, the only one that I really like going down is this one right here. And so everything's going to come down to how do you sing it. Ba, 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 ba. Watch. See that? Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. So we use these slides or these bends to get the feeling of what it would be like to mimic the voice. Hence, do you have the soul? Okay, and this is one of the first things that I mastered when I was young, playing blues like this. And you could just hang on one chord. You don't have to move through the 4 chord and do all this what we call the 12-bar blues form. You could just chill on this one and just like have yourself a little session. Tell about your day. So we've talked about how to get our left hand going in this exercise. We've talked about how to, dang this pedal. Why are you gonna fail me exactly when I'm doing this live stream thing here? Well, anyway, so we talked about how to get the left hand to go. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to unplug this thing. Bummer, because I like to have my sustain pedal. So we have left hand. We've talked about exercises for building the solo hand. We've talked about some comping or accompaniment, playing the right hand in the chord range and let somebody else do the soloing. And now we're just gonna like have a little final jam here and just put all the concepts together. And you may find I'll do some other wacky stuff. You know, before I do, I'm gonna try and see if I can get my my sustain pedal back on, because it's really a bummer when you don't have it. Oops. Oh, you guys lost me. Sorry about that. So if anybody buddy. Knowledge. Do you save your lives and make them available? I don't know what that means. If you can make a more sense, I will gladly answer your question. But if you guys have enjoyed this lesson, go to johnpatron.com. I have a class that I recently put out a couple months ago. It's called Make Music Now, and it's mostly focused on the black notes. I learned this technique in Ghana. If you want to just like learn how to like just improvise like right now, just start playing. It's a really good class. It's 6 pre-recorded lessons, and so definitely check it out. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna hit one more last groove here. I will follow through the blues form, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'll be signing off after this, but hit me up. Let me know if you guys got any questions, and I'm happy to answer them or maybe address them in the next live stream. I'm gonna try to do these like every day. You know, just keep putting out good knowledge to know. So if you enjoyed it, yeah, let me know. All right, guys, here we go. Blues, all these things. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And my doggy's here. Hey, buddy. Is it time to go out? All right, I'll be right with you, buddy. This out. All right, thanks you guys. Really appreciate you tuning in. John Petronzio here, JP. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you tomorrow or sometime soon. Much love, y'all.